Well, guess it's that time of year again. We may as well start this video in the usual way, by outlining just how bad at predicting Formula 1 I am, even if my recent string of videos kind of speak for themselves at this point. That being said, I did get a few things right this time last year. Lando Norris did take his first Grand Prix victory, Perez did fall off a cliff, and Max Verstappen did take the Drivers' Championship. And the fact that even makes it into the predictions I'm proud I got right shows just how well the rest of them aged. Let's just forget what I said about Ferrari winning the championship, Albon going to Mercedes, everything I said about Daniel Ricciardo, and RB being competitive. Hang on, I'm sorry, what was I f***ing smoking when I said that? You know what? It's a new year, and a brand new chance to either redeem or further embarrass myself. So here are probably the worst F1 predictions for F1 2025. Let's start with the big one, Drivers' World Champion. Actually, let's not, because I rather enjoy those watch time statistics, so let's instead talk about all the rookies joining the grid in 2025. Dramatic shifts in the driver market sees the paddock resemble something more like a paedophile's wet dream this year, with plenty of fresh blood coming in to take the fight to some of the most established names in the sport, and Lance Stroll. In fact, there's been so much talk about this in the off-season, it's got to the point where F1 Twitter are arguing over exactly what makes a rookie. So, for the avoidance of doubt, we'll ignore Liam Lawson for now, given he first raced 2 years ago and he's driving a f***ing Red Bull. I also somehow forgot to mention Kimi Antonelli at Mercedes here, so let's just ignore I do that as we'll come back to him later anyway. That leaves things a little more fair when we take a look at the midfield batch of Hadjar, Doohan, Behrman and Bortoletto. And for me, there's going to be a clear winner here. Besides having the advantage of contesting Grand Prix throughout 2024, Ollie Behrman looks to be one of the most exciting prospects coming out of the junior formulas right now. There's a chance he could be eclipsed in skill by the wannabe Senna over here, but then we remember who he's driving for. And yeah, it's a clear win for the Bear in 2025. As for the other two, and I'm not expecting a whole lot this season. Hadjar is only really there because Red Bull ran out of cannon fodder and the team literally said he wasn't ready at the end of last year, only to promote him into the firing line anyway. Doohan, meanwhile, appears to already be under threat, and that brings me to my next prediction. Franco Colapinto will replace the Aussie at Alpine around the middle of the season. Regular viewers of the channel will remember I have this uncanny ability to say something about Franco Colapinto and these be proven wrong almost immediately. However, his appointment as Alpine reserve driver number 5671 appears to place incumbent driver Doohan under pressure after only one race. Granted, his Abu Dhabi debut was about as inspiring as a TED talk by Rishi Sunak, but let's remember he was thrown into that car on short notice, having not raced competitively in over a year. I may well have called him the next sergeant in a video a few months back, but with that I was more referring to how he's shown signs of cracking when the pressure is ramped up during his time in the junior ladder. Now, coming into his first full year, and already battling speculation that he'll be euthanized as soon as his contract allows, what could possibly go wrong? So with Franco making his triumphant return, much to the delight of 15 and apparently 32-year-old girls, let's just take some time to talk about his former employers, Williams. 2025 marks James Vowles finally getting his genitals on Carlos Sainz, who continues to look thrilled about his situation and any promotional media Williams seem to put out at the moment. I think Sainz will likely pick up where he left off and do a decent job for the boys in blue, in a season that will well and truly expose Alexander Albon. Regardless over how good Colapinto really was in his super sub performance at the end of last season, it really wasn't great news for Fraudbon over here, who not only found himself beaten by his new teammate on several occasions, but also decided to take up a new role as head of disassembly in 2024. This year marks the first time the Thai driver's up against a known quantity since Nicholas Latifi. Unfortunately, he was known to be shit, so this is the first time Alex has been up against a decent known quantity since Max Verstappen. And that season sure went well, didn't it? This will really be a make or break season for Albon, but I can't see things falling his way. So I'm predicting this will be the beginning of the end for the 28-year-old, with Williams potentially starting to consider other possibilities when his contract expires at the end of 2026. Let's move up the grid then and talk Mercedes. This year marks the fourth successive season where Toto Wolff has announced how confident the team are that they finally understood these ground effect regulations. In the last 3, they proceed to get to the first race, realise they haven't got a f***ing clue what they're doing, and thus spend the rest of the year catching up. Every year I've pretty much ended up believing them, so logic should say I finally bucked that trend in 2025. But I know as soon as I do that, they will start to get their act together, so let's believe one final time and say Merc do come out of the blocks firing on all cylinders. By the end of 2024, the team did appear to have made some good progress. Wins in the middle of the season for both Russell and Hamilton, and then a far more dominant showing by George at Las Vegas sets the team up for more success with the stable regulations. However, the 3 outfits ahead will have that advantage as well. and with the team needing to acclimatise rookie signing Kimi Antonelli out of the barrier and into the team, I'm expecting there to be bumps in the road that prevent a full-scale championship challenge this year. You could argue Red Bull are in a similar situation. Despite winning the drivers' title with Max Verstappen, they had arguably the third fastest car for the majority of the season. The good news is that Sergio Perez has been finally cast into the fire, but will Liam Lawson really be much better? There's certainly potential with this kid, but it will come down to whether or not the team have promoted one of their juniors too early for about the 86th time. Verstappen will still be there fighting for wins and potentially the championship, but I can't see Red Bull being one of the big players when it comes to the constructors. So as you probably worked out, that takes us down to two teams. When you go back through the history of Formula 1, two names stand firmly above the rest: McLaren and Ferrari. The pair have battled it out on many occasions in the past, and while both have spent the last 15 years sniffing glue, 2024 did give us a taste of what's to come. Ferrari's late surge saw them almost make a bid for the Constructors' crown, and this year they come into the season with 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton on board, which is either great or f***ing terrifying. You see, Hamilton's Ferrari dream can only go one of two ways at this point, and to help explain that, I need to transition over to my other favourite sport, American rugby. No, sorry, I'm going to get in too much trouble for that. Tom Brady is arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, cementing that title by leaving the team where he found all of his success and joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with whom he proceeded to win the Super Bowl the very next season. In 2023, Aaron Rodgers wanted to do the exact same thing, leaving the Green Bay Packers for the New York Jets, possibly the most unfortunate team name in NFL history. Anyway, Rodgers played 4 snaps before an Achilles injury ended this season, and 2024 is, if anything, only tarnished his once great stat sheet even further. Returning to Hamilton, and this will, as I said, go one of two ways. He'll either pull a Brady and take Ferrari to their first title in a billion years, or pull a Rodgers and drown. Question is, which way do I see this going? And as much as I hate to say it, last season has not filled me with much hope. There were flashes of the Hamilton of old in 2024, take his British Grand Prix win for example, but there are also a lot more moments where he just looked tired. Perhaps that was because he knew he was leaving the team at the end of the year. Maybe he's just past his peak. It's not like Team LH have been listening to this bit anyway, they're too busy calling me racist down in the comments section below. Long story short, I'm expecting an alright season from Lewis this year, and maybe even a Lewis Ferrari win, but for the Briton to be comfortably beaten by Charles Leclerc come year's end. That just leaves us with McLaren then, who really come into 2025 in the best possible position. They're the only of the top 4 teams to be carrying through a stable driver lineup into the new year, and the same can be said for their technical department. Having taken the 2024 Constructors' crown, they're perhaps best placed to build on that momentum going into 2025. The team do have a Mercedes-like trend of starting championships off on the wrong foot though, and having to play catch-up over the second half of the year. But we've seen that uptick in form come earlier and earlier since F1 adopted the ground effect regulations in 2022. Thus, I'm saying this will be McLaren's year, and it will be back-to-back Constructors' glory by the time we're back in Abu Dhabi. Question is, can we say the same for the drivers? And that really depends on how you look at 2024. From one point of view, Norris could have easily snatched the title from Verstappen had he remembered how to get off the line and what way into Lagos goes. Alternatively, you could look at that as a preparation year. The championship was never really on, and Norris was able to learn from those mistakes, placing him in a far stronger position for 2025. Provided he gets off on the right foot this year and has learned from his past mistakes, I think we'll see a Norris versus Leclerc battle for the title, with the Briton coming out on top to take his first driver's crown, and I appreciate that screams British bias, but it's also my channel, so go f*** yourself. We may as well end this one with a few quick fire predictions that I haven't got a whole lot to say about, and before I get into these, please do leave yours in the comment section below, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video discussing your hot takes. Or maybe I won't, so anyway, let's just get started with these. We'll have a shock rookie podium at some point in 2024. We'll see a super sub-performance from Valtteri Bottas at some point in the year. At least 2 drivers will have to vacate their seats during the season. Lance Stroll will be confirmed as an Aston Martin driver for 2025. Sauber will be shit again, and Mohammed Ben Sulayem will do something this year that makes me call him a There we have it then, probably the worst predictions for F1 in 2025, and now I have to spend the next month working out what other cash cows I can milk before the season gets back into full swing in February. As I said, let me know what your thoughts are on my takes down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, why not like and subscribe? I'm aiming for 200k by the end of the year, so if you can help me get there, I'd be eternally grateful. Cheers as well to the members and patrons who got this video early and also have access to the second episode of the 2025 comedy review while I wait for sponsor approval on that one. Links are down in the description below if you're interested. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.